It's surprising what's going to be in the next box I open.
It's possibly the largest collection that's specific to one geographic location in the country.
I never get tired of looking at photographs or the negatives, and opening each box is always like, potential for something exciting.
It is a little photographic time capsule of the entire community's history.
Another type of project that the Heritage Grant Program often supports are photograph projects, and these can be all sorts of things from preserving black and white negatives to color photographs, and then every once in a while you get a project like Stafford County. The Stafford County Historical Society found themselves in possession of thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of glass plate negatives.
W.R. Gray was a photographer at St. John from 1905 until his death in 1947. Well, we're in the museum library, and where we're sitting is in the room where we keep the glass negatives, which is right off my office, and behind me are the boxes of the glass negatives. The boxes on this side are the ones that have already been finished and processed, and then the ugly brown boxes here are the boxes that still have to be done. When we first started the project, we didn't have any idea what to do or how to get started taking care of it. And then in 2007, the Kansas Humanities Council provided funding for us to get started on the project. And they also provided us with a consultant to help guide us through the process.
Well, my primary purpose has been to educate the volunteers and staff about how to handle the collection, how to clean the collection.
And the volunteers will take a cotton ball dipped in distilled water and clean what they call the shiny side, which is just the glass side of the negative. And then they also take an anti-static whisk brush and brush the emulsion side, which is the side that actually has the image on it. And while the negative is drying, then they get information from one of Mr. Gray's ledgers, and they write the information down on a catalog sheet.
I've done 79 last week in one day, and that's about the most I've done in one day. But this last one that we've had is 14,289, so we're getting to the halfway mark. And so in another 3 or 4 years, we ought to be through with it.
People from all of Stafford County are represented here. And then we also know that he had a traveling studio so that he would actually go out into the community to take pictures.
There's a picture of a baby in a bowl, and that's a lot of people's favorite picture. When we found that, we were just in awe of how beautiful the picture was and how well it was done. There's a picture of a man holding his baby up with one hand, and that picture tells a whole story of a proud papa and a little boy who trusts his father completely.
They are capturing moments of time, and they are capturing events, and I think that's almost the point of taking photos.
There's a picture of my great-great-great-grandfather John Fitzgerald and his 5 of his adult children. They left England in 1875 to homestead in Kansas and ended up here in Stafford County. I had never seen that picture before, and so it was a real thrill to stumble across a picture like that.
One of the things that I find very interesting about Mr. Gray is that he never went to acetate or nitrate film. His entire career was in glass plate negatives.
In May of 2010, I was going through some negatives here, and there's a place here to describe them. And of course the negative looks different than a positive picture. So when I got over to the ledger and found that number, it said Sylvester Hearn, which was my father, twins, Marion and Melvin, 14 months old. So I got up and come over to the table and looked at the negative. Well then, yes, I've seen that picture before.
Keeping history is not always the most cost-effective thing for many organizations, particularly small like this one. These, you could just look at all the boxes that are necessary for keeping these plates safe. And then also, even when you look at these boxes, inside each negative is wrapped in acid-free paper. All of these supplies are expensive, and without KHC supplying funds, Stafford wouldn't have been able to afford nearly as much as this.
Part of what we try to do at the Kansas Humanities Council is tie those individual stories together. So find ways for more people to learn about the Stafford County project, for example. It's important to us as a whole, just as Leavenworth projects are important to us, or Kinsley or Glasgow. All of us are in this together, that the story of each of these unique communities is the story of Kansas.